Before I forget, I get lost in editing when making multiple video pieces to put together, but I didn't want to forget to mention that this had 4 HDMI inputs, eARC, antenna, headphone, USB, Ethernet, AC wireless, all that modern stuff. And once again, the quad-core Roku, which is just a lot faster than the old one. Direct back LED lit, and the quantum dot, and I'll say later in the video, we're starting to reach peak TV because the colors on this quantum dot TV really are amazing. If you have an older TV, just a regular LED one where it's edge lit, it may be LED, but the LEDs are around the outside frame, which causes a lot more glow versus having the LEDs from the back. The quantum dot means it uses blue LEDs, so it gets much better black levels. They're not OLED like your Samsung phone, but they're good. If you're someone who buys cheap TVs, you will be more than satisfied. And I can't believe for the price, it really is getting to the point to where one, like Roku advertising and stuff, is subsidizing some of the cost. And the fact that people just aren't buying TVs, they hold on to the TVs. They get one, and it's good enough, they'll have it for 10 years or however long. I go to a lot of garage sales, and I see tons of TVs with bezels that are like this wide. Just evidence of how long people hold on to the TVs. But this is like worth the upgrade, and it'll be hard after something like a quantum dot TV. You'll spend a lot of money, and you're really getting into diminishing returns. And so the manufacturers are now just competing on price, just trying to make product sales. So Catus Maximus here. I'm going to do my best of like a detailed review, lots of showing of images and HDR stuff and video gaming on it. And so I'm reviewing this from straight up that a brand new TV, quantum dot QLED for $250. They've invested in the last few years in all these factories to make these big TVs, but sales are diminishing. And for people who have an old plasma TV, much less old tube TVs, or just early LED TVs, getting something like this Philips QLED TV, especially if you're in the Roku is just super fast and responsive. But really, 3 years ago, I reviewed a JVC 50-inch LED Roku TV that was on sale. I paid $260 for it. 3 years later, for $10 less, you get a TV that has better built-in speakers, 10 watts versus 8 watts, quad-core Roku versus a quad processor versus an old dual processor Roku, which was really getting slow. This is much faster. The quantum LED screen, the quantum dot screen, is really surprising. It's like one of those dazzling displays that you see in the stores. And that's the easiest way to put it. What quantum dots have done, and this is not a micro LED, it is a direct lit. That means the LEDs, the backlight blue LEDs, because it's quantum dot, are not in the edge of the frame. They're actually in an array facing forwards, so you don't have any of those highlights or weird things that go on with edge lit. I don't believe it has local dimming. They're cheaping out on some of that, but at least it's still direct lit, and the color and everything is nice and even. Part of the deal with quantum dots is you get, instead of having a white LED, which is really a blue with a phosphor on it, shining through, then you have red, green, and blue filters. What you have is just a blue black light, and then you have quantum dots, so when the blue black light hits 30 nanometer particles, it reglows a specific spectrum, a real sharp peak, specific wavelength of green, and when it hits the 50 nanometer ones, it's a specific wavelength of red. And that's what makes quantum dots different from phosphors, is phosphors will actually emit a bandwidth of light in a particular color range, where quantum dots are using quantum physics. They are sized specifically so that when blue light hits it, it does its physics thing and then re-emits a specific green light or a red light, depending on how they made those dots. And it offers awesome color quality, and black levels are much better than my old edge lit. I have an organic LED screen on my phone, so it doesn't quite reach those black levels. But as far as the contrast and just the richness of the color, even when things are getting really bright on screen, you still just can see all the detail rather than them getting washed out. It's like, it's safe to upgrade. Technology has brought quantum dot TVs to really affordable prices. And the image quality is just, it's like we have arrived, and now it's like really diminishing returns. And there, I mean, some TVs may have better image quality, but it's a big diminishing returns. It's not going to be like a quantum leap, like from upgrading my old LED TV to this quantum dot. This quantum dot, to get something that's just going to blow me away with as much of a difference, it's going to be really hard to find. It's just, you know, you're kind of reaching the end of the road for, I mean, how good TV displays can get. Just to show you this, the Funai is actually the company that's making this. There's a Philips remote, and they support that model number. And then if we look quickly at the Wikipedia, it is a Japanese company. Surprisingly enough, this isn't a Chinese-based TV. So I was kind of happy to see about that. It seems this is making it around some of the box stores, but places like Target, I mean, I'm sure they sold out. Those things really dazzled on the displays. And this is what also surprised me, is so it's a Japanese brand doing Philips licensing, and Philips generally has decent products, and I saw made in Mexico. It's not made in China. This is actually a TV, a major consumer electronics item that's made in North America. I was actually surprised about that. So Philips, Funai, Japanese company, and made in Mexico. To show you that it's really new, manufactured May 2023, and I got this in August. I mean, that's what, like 3 months from when it was manufactured. Surprised how quickly it hit shelves. I had to set it to the standard HDMI 2.0, and as soon as I did that properly in Windows, we can see the HDR logo there. When we go to Windows HD color settings, we can actually see that it supports at all HDR video, HDR, WCG apps, you know, use HDR. You just have to go and set the input settings for like my Ultra HD Blu-ray player. Auto detects it fine, but when it comes to the computer and this NVIDIA video card, I had to set it to HDMI 2.0, and then all the HDR works through the computer. This is just to quickly demonstrate it in game mode. Whoop. And the sound that you're hearing is actually through the wireless Roku speakers. The sound works right through the PC. Anyway, you go into these advanced settings and you can go down to this game mode. Anyway, this is old Doom 2016, just to show you. We are running at 3840, and it's the only game I can run at maximum settings. That will kind of show the latency. And just for the heck of it, this is a close-up of the sharpness of the text. I mean, it is absolutely fine. It's great. This is with all my lights on at brightest, and even here, the brightness is just at normal. The responsiveness, the big difference between the old TV and this one is it has a quad core versus a dual core, and it always allows an available core, so everything is just really fast. Like if you just want to remove a channel, that's the problem with the Rokus even of a few years ago. I'm not going to subscribe to any of this stuff. Is the fact that you just get more cores now, and so everything just seems a lot more responsive simply because of the fact that whatever it's doing in the background, updating or transferring data or any of that kind of stuff, it always just has a full CPU to dedicate to whatever you're using on the screen. That's why removing channels like this can be a pretty slow process on older Rokus. Not a big deal here. Just a much improved processing experience, that's for sure. I mean, if we go into YouTube here, apps load a little bit quicker, it seems, but not, well, I guess they are faster. Let's see here. We do one of these 4K HDR kind of things here. But when you were playing like 4K video and scrolling through this kind of stuff, it was just so much slower. It was really surprising. It takes a second when it's loading, but once it's loaded, it's just totally responsive. And what I mean by that, if we go to something like this here, we can see, or you can barely see, but it's 2160 HDR. And on my old TV, this was the worst because it was using like all of its available CPU power, just trying to scroll through stuff like this. It was just like hit the button and it would just be delayed. It's just really surprising how much more responsive the interface is, especially once it gets the data cache. It's just no problem going through this, even while it's streaming 4K HDR content, which is a quad core with a gig of RAM, and it's just so much better than the old dual core. It's just a real pleasurable experience. The only way to really say it. One last little preview section, just so you can see the image off of a 4K Ultra HD disc, even versus some streaming. Really, it has better pixel response time. It looks clearer and sharper than the old 4K TV. And I was reading somewhere about how the quantum dots themselves have less bleed over, which is one pixel, kind of making the pixel next to it light up a little bit. So it's just seems a lot sharper, even though it's the same size and resolution. It's really pretty darn surprising. I really just was kind of blown away with that. It was just so much sharper. Here's one of these HDR demos. The camera actually is overexposing because when you're actually sitting in front of the TV, like here, it looks really white, but it's really just absolutely perfect. And I think the black levels are really pretty good. I mean, you're gonna have to spend a lot more money to get a whole lot, get an OLED TV or something like that. Otherwise, I mean, it's a reason to watch these funky HDR videos, just because they actually look amazing, especially for the price of the TV. It's just crazy. I guess the biggest criticism, really, well, if we look down here, is all over the box and the pictures online. They eliminate this. There's actually like a 1/4 inch or 6mm border. Even though on the box and everything, they show the screen going right to the bleeding edge of the frame. So, I mean, it is frameless, and it does look pretty good, but they shouldn't show pictures of the image going to the bleeding edge of the case when there's actually a 1/4 inch gap. Even though there is not a plastic bezel there, there's still a slight border. It's not much. And yeah, you were just hearing the Roku 9030X speakers, but you know, it can sync with the voice remote, and not a lot else to say besides that. Thanks for watching.